Morning grade 7, welcome to your last ever online YouTube math lesson. Today I'm doing a review of chapter 13 and then tomorrow you're going to have a quiz on it and then we'll be done with math for the school year. So we're skipping the problem solving lesson again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each type of problem that's going to show up on your test. I've labeled it. So here, for example, you can see we're doing surface area and it's a rectangular prism. So that way when you're doing your review lesson today, if you're stuck on a question, these 7 slides coincide to the 7 sections on your review sheet. So if you're on the third set of pictures and you don't understand how to do it, you can go back to my third example on this video. So first one, if we're finding the surface area of a rectangular prism, remember you can think of it almost as 3 different areas times 2. So what I could do first is I could find area 1, and I could do 4 times 7, and I would get 28. That's for that top square there. Then I could do area 2, the biggest square on the outside, which would be 10 times 7 equals 70. And then this side one here, area 3, which would be 4 times 10, which is 40. Then what I would need to do is I would need to add those all together. And I would get 138. But now remember that a rectangular prism has 6 faces. So what I've done actually by finding 3 areas is I've actually only found half of the faces. But I know area 1, say the top of my rectangular prism, has a matching one on the bottom. Same with area 2, there's a matching one on the back, and area 3 has a matching one on the side. So what all I need to do then is multiply 138 by 2 to get my final answer. So you have to remember to multiply by 2 at the end if you didn't multiply by 2 throughout. So you get 276 centimeters squared. So when you find the surface area of a rectangular prism, make sure you found all 6 faces. Now we have a triangular prism. So here I can think about how I have 5 different faces. If I want to, I can figure out the surface area of the triangle first. So I can call that area 1, and I can do base times height divided by 2. And I would get 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to multiply that by 2 because I have 2 faces that are triangles, the front and then the back here. Okay, so 12 is an important number. Then I'm going to do area 2, which is this big rectangle on the side. So I'm going to do 15 times 5, and I get 15 times 5 is 75. Now again, there should be 2 of those because look I have a side here, 15 by 5, and on the other side, 15 by 5. So again, I'm going to also multiply this one by 2, and I'm going to get 150. Then finally, I have 1/5 face here, and it's area 3. Oops, let me switch off my highlighter. Area 3, and that's going to be 15 times 4, which gives me 60. Now that one I don't need to double because there's only one of them. And then I would add those all together, and I would get, I believe, if I'm doing it correctly, 222. I'm trying to do that quickly in my head. Maybe I should have written it down. Let's double check. Plus 60 plus 12. 222 centimeters squared. So again, with surface area, make sure you find all the sides. All right, let's do one more surface area with a pyramid. So let's start with area 1. I'm going to call that the base there. It's just a square, so I just need to do 8 times 8, and I get 64. Then I'm going to do this side triangle here. Notice I'm using the slant height. We'll call that area 2 because the slant height goes from the bottom of the triangle to the top of the pyramid, but it's not actually inside the pyramid. So I get 8 times 10 divided by 2. So I would get that area is 40. Now this one, if I think about it, I should notice that I actually have 4 triangles that are that exact same area. So I'm going to multiply it by 4, and I get 160. So then I'm going to add my 160 for the 4 triangles and 64, and I get 224 inches squared. So once again, surface area, surface area. Remember to look for all the faces. All right, now we get to volume. Volume of a rectangular prism is actually one of the easiest ones. When we find the volume of a rectangular prism, we just do the length times the width times the height. Or really, you can think of it of just multiplying by all 3 numbers that you see. So we would get 4 times 10 times 70. I think 10 times, not times 70, times 10. 70. Ugh, 4 times 10 times 7. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So I get 4 times 70, and then I would get 280 centimeters cubed, or cubic centimeters, because I'm talking about volume. So for volume of a rectangular prism, it's very simple. Just multiply all 3 numbers that you see. Now, for the volume of a triangular prism, what I want you to do is I want you to think about the base and then multiplying the base by the height of the triangle. So pretend that I've turned this prism on end so that this highlighted part is the base. Then we have the height going up that we multiply by. So our volume is really the base, the area of the base, times the height. So first, if I wanted to find the area of that base, it would be 3 times 4 divided by 2. So the area of my base is actually 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. So then I get 6 square centimeters times the height, which is 15, and I would get 6 times 15. So I would get 90 as my answer. 90 cubic centimeters. Okay, so again, I found the base of the triangle, and then I just multiplied by the height. Now, what if I'm working with a pyramid? The pyramids are a little bit tricky. So with the pyramid, I'm still finding the volume by finding the base, multiply it by the height, but then I need to divide by 3. So again, you can think of it as those 3 steps, right? Find the base, multiply by the height, and then divide by 3, if you want to think of it that way. So let's do that. So I find the base. So the area of my base is 12 times 6. So 12 times 6 is 72. Then I'm going to do 72, I'm on step 2, times the height. 72 times 15. 72 times 15, which equals 1,080. And then I'm going to do 1,080 divided by 3. Again, we didn't really get into why that works, but it does. So you just need to really remember that formula. So we get 360. Now, we can follow those same steps of 1, find the base, 2 times by the height, and then 3 divide by 3. Let's fix that. Times the height, and then divide by 3. But you just need to remember when you're working with a triangular pyramid, just be careful when you find the base. So when you're going to find the base of the triangular pyramid, remember, it's the base times the height divided by 2. So I get 3 times 3 divided by 2, which is 4.5. Then I'm going to do step 2, 4.5 times 4. That's multiplying by the height. Do that on my calculator for a second. Times 4, so we get 18. And then my third step is divide by 3. And so we get 6 cubic millimeters. Okay, so again, this is a great review video in terms of getting ready for the test. It should help you with the review sheet. If you have any questions, let me know. And then I hope you do well on your final math test on Wednesday. Hope you have a great day.